This week, your direct instruction is going to focus on characterization and character types. There are many different kinds of characters that you will encounter in the books and stories that you read and write. People and animals can be major characters, minor characters, flat characters, and round characters. Many different characters can make up a story, play, or piece of poetry. How character is developed. Authors use direct and indirect characterization to develop characters. We will explore each of these throughout the next couple of slides. Direct characterization. With direct characterization, the writer tells the reader what the character is like. Here's an excerpt from Raymond's Run. And I don't play the dozens or believe in standing around with somebody in my face doing a lot of talking. I'd much rather just knock you down and take my chances, even if I'm a little girl with skinny arms and a squeaky voice, which is how I got the name Squeaky. In this example, the character is telling you exactly what she is like. You don't have to make any inferences. She comes right out and says it. The second type of characterization is called indirect characterization. With indirect characterization, the writer shows what a character is like by describing what the character looks like, by telling what the character says and does, and by what other characters say about and do in response to the character. Above is an example from Gentlemen of Rio and Medio. The old man bowed to all of us in the room. Then he removed his hat and gloves slowly and carefully. Chaplin once did that in a picture, in a bank. He was the janitor. In this case, we learn that the man is a gentleman. He bows, he removes his hat. We have to infer all these things. He's describing the character rather than telling us directly what the character is like. Character development. Direct and indirect characterization can be broken down into 4 distinct ways to present depth and information about characters. The first way is through what the character says or thinks. What the speaker says may indicate the character of the speaker. It may also indicate a momentary emotional or intellectual state. The second way is through what the character does. Actions speak louder than words. Sometimes actions differ greatly from what the character says. We need to keep in mind and pay attention as we're writing and reading about how the characters are acting. Actions are the most important sign of the speaker's character, because obviously their words can lie. The third way that we can learn about characters is through what others say about the character. As in real life, people in stories and plays talk about each other. Emotion may color what we see about the characters. An enemy may have prejudicial views that make situations worse. And a close friend of the character may be biased, less truthful. So we have to evaluate what is said about the characters and take into account who is saying them. The fourth way that we can learn about characters is through what the author tells us about the character and whether or not it is reliable. Here's an excerpt from To Build a Fire by Jack London. He was a newcomer in the land, a Chequayo, and this was his first winter. The trouble with him was that he was without imagination. He was quick and alert in the things of life, but only in the things, and not in the significances. So in this case, Jack London, the author, is telling us these things about his character. What we have to decide is whether or not this information is reliable or not, and then make that determination to help us decide what kind of character the man in the story is. The author is our storyteller. So What the author tells the reader about a character is to be accepted as insight into the character. So when an author tells us things about the character, we need to decide for ourselves, but we also need to realize that he is the one, or she is the one creating these characters. So the information they give us about the character is probably true and is meant to help us understand what's going on in the story. Now, in addition to being many ways that authors can introduce and have us learn about characters, there are also many types of characters. When we discuss literature, we refer to characters as round characters, flat characters, dynamic characters, static characters, and characters of stereotype. Each of these characters is important to our stories. Round characters have various characteristics or traits. A round character can change or grow, and readers see more than one side of a round character. They're round. There's a lot to them. The second type of characters are flat characters. Readers see one side of a flat character. Flat characters are usually minor characters and reveal only one or two traits. Flat characters may be used as a contrast to a major character. Dynamic is another type of character. Characters who develop and change are not only round characters, but often dynamic. Scrooge changes from a tight-fisted, greedy, unhappy man in A Christmas Carol to one who was happily benevolent in the end. Therefore, he would be both a round character and a dynamic character, because he changes greatly from the beginning of the story until the end. Static characters. Static characters are one-dimensional. Readers see only one side. Static characters stay the same and do not develop. Readers learn very little about these characters. Static characters are also flat characters. Another type of characters are stereotypes and stock characters. Sometimes characters with common traits are repeatedly found in unrelated stories. These characters are known by what they do and how they act. We have the teacher character, the detective, the cowboy, the shrew, the doctor, the politician, the miser, the lawyer, the pirate, the dentist, Characters can also be categorized as either being protagonists or antagonists. The protagonist is central to the action of a story and moves against the antagonist. They're often described as being your hero. The antagonist is the villain or a force which opposes the protagonist. They're the person fighting against your main character. When you're developing characters or analyzing characters, here are some things you need to think about. The personal appearance of the character. The character's personality. Are they nice? Are they kind? Their background. Where are they from? What kind of knowledge do they have? Their motivation. Why are they acting the way they act? Their relationships with other characters. Do they get along well with the other characters, or are they more of an outsider? Their conflict. How are they part of the conflict? Did they cause the conflict? And how the character changes. Now that we've gone over characterization, indirect and direct, all of the different types of characters, I have a little quiz for you on the next 7 slides. Each of the next 7 slides will introduce you to a different literary character and give you a little synopsis of who that character is and what that character is like. Also, on each slide, there will be a multiple choice area. You will need to select either A, B, or C, or D to define that character. There is only one answer for each character. I encourage you to pause the video as you go through the characters so that you can think about each one carefully. But each character only has one correct answer. The first character is Megamind. His nemesis is Metro Man, the city's big hero and defender. He wants to ruin Metro City and defeat Metro Man. He falls in love with Roxanne. He stops Titan from destroying Metro City. And he becomes the new hero of Metro City. Now, based on this information, decide if he is A, a flat character, B, a static character, C, a stereotype, or D, a dynamic character. Meet Mother Gothel. Gothel kidnaps baby Rapunzel so she can use her magic hair to stay young. Gothel keeps the truth from Rapunzel about her real parents. Gothel won't let Rapunzel out of the tower, and Gothel stabs Flynn, the man Rapunzel loves. Now decide, is Mother Gothel a round character, a protagonist, an antagonist, or a dynamic character? Meet Katniss. She is strong, independent, and able to provide for herself, but can also be vulnerable. She can be snarly, but she can also be kind. She is tough, but gets scared. She is smart, but can make mistakes when she's impulsive. She loves her family, but finds it hard to open herself to romantic love. Is she A, a stereotype, B, a flat character, C, a round character, or D, a static character? Meet Mrs. Weasley. She's a mother to 7 children. She washes their clothes and takes care of the house. She fusses over her children and wants them safe. She's a great cook. She's proud of her children's achievements. Now decide, based on this information, is Mrs. Weasley a flat character, a round character, a dynamic character, or a protagonist? Meet Percy Jackson. He's a hero. His friends look up to him. He goes on a lot of quests, and it's up to him to save the world. He has to fight monsters. Is he A, an antagonist, B, a stereotype, C, a static character, or D, a protagonist? Meet Snow White. She's sweet and kind. She's good and loving. Her stepmother is cruel to her. She helps out some dwarves. She almost dies. When she awakens, she's good, sweet, kind, and loving. Is she A, a stereotype, B, a static character, C, a round character, or D, a dynamic character? Meet Anakin, aka Darth Vader. He was a precocious boy who had the Force in him. He fought with the Jedis for good. Because of jealousy and fear, he went over to the dark side. He sacrifices his own life to save his son's life. Is he A, a static character, B, a stereotype, C, a flat character, or D, a dynamic character? That is the last character for your short little quiz today. In addition to deciding A, B, C, or D for each character, I would like you to give me your reason why you believe or feel that that character is the type you have assigned it to. If you have any questions as you work on this week's assignments, either about this specific assignment or any of the others, please make sure that you contact me so I can give you some guidance. Otherwise, I hope you have a good week. Thanks.